Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. What's. Ah, fuck it. Okay. I decided to push record before. Whatever. Welcome back. I actually really hurt. Welcome back to Birth Month 2026. Today is the day that we do a movie I took off the list for some reason. I don't know why, but we're doing it now. The Indian in the Cupboard. And you're like, no, I know that's not a politically correct name anymore, but it is based on a book. So, go after the author. Lynn Reed Banks. Go after her. Her? Lynn could be a guy. Her. Go after her. She's dead. Well, I don't know. And I watched this movie film back when in the 90s. This came out in 95. I must have watched it in 96 on VHS. Depending on when it came out. And I remember enjoying it. I watched it now and well, it was an interesting watch. This is another one of those movies that I hadn't seen since I was a kid. I think I may have watched part of this because I saw when I was looking for reviews, there was a clip that said Hub movie of the family movie of the week or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They did air it on the Hub back in the 2010s or whenever it was the Hub, and now it's Discovery Family. But they did air it there. I remember watching a little bit of it at that. I don't think I watched a lot of it, just a little bit. The story is about a boy. I was close in guessing. He just celebrates his birthday. I would have said 10. It's 9. I was close. Celebrated birthday, he gets this cupboard. It's a cabinet. But they call it a cupboard. It's a little cabinet. That's the cabinet. The Indian in the cabinet. Cupboard is what's up there. Cupboard, where you put your groceries and stuff. That's a cabinet. Whatever. Call it a cupboard. When do cupboards lock? It's a cabinet. Whatever. A little cupboard, cabinet thingy. And there's no key, so he gets a key that belonged to his grandmother. And he would use that to lock it and stuff. And he puts a little Native American in there. I would be calling him Native American, an Indian, whatever. Indian, as they say also. In there. Locks it, and it comes to life. That's it. That's the plot. There's more to it. And I read, like, the synopsis of the book. They pretty much took everything from the book, except for they did change a little bit towards the end, which I do like this better here. Where it's like, they changed it. Hold on, my nose is bugging me. My nose is bugging me. My nose is bugging me. Alright. So, let's talk about the cast, as we normally do with this. I was surprised to see a few people in this. Names were popping up in the opening. Steve Coogan played Tommy, the little British military man that was also a medic. Vincent Carthy, or a young Vincent Carthy, in 1995, is one of the older brothers. Michael Papajohn is here, but I don't know I don't know where he is. He's somewhere. David Keith is the cowboy figure turned alive, Boohoo Boone. And then a real Native American actor and rapper, Littlefoot, Lightfoot as Little Bear. And Richard Jenkins is the dad. You know, he was in Step Brothers, excuse me, and The Cabin in the Woods. The one with the cabin in the woods. Okay, no, the one with the cabin in the woods. Using The Cabin in the Woods. Him, and this is the most I've seen. This is the most I've seen him. Okay, how do I put that? This is the most hair I've seen him with. He's still bald, but it's the most I've seen on his head in this. And then we have the mom. And I was looking at the mom, and I go, do I know her? Is she the mom from Ferris Bueller? No, but I know her from something. What is it? And there was one look. It was like she gave us an angry look to someone or something. And I went, she's the professor lady from Buffy. She's the evil professor lady from season 4 of Buffy that creates Adam. Out of a dirty look. Or some kind of a look that she gives to someone. And I'm just like, that's how I figured it out. But yes. And then there's our main character, Omri. Played by actor Hal Scordino. Now, apparently he did other things. He was in 4 movies. He was in Searching for Bobby Fischer as Morgan Pym. This movie. Marvin's Room as Charlie. And then he was done The Show in 2015. He was also a producer as Ethan. But all 3 of these, 93, 95, and 96. Didn't do much. No offense to the guy. This felt like a Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory situation. The kid just can't act. I'm sorry. And, hey, I love Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory. But that kid can't act. Sorry. Grandpa! Just, no. And here, I don't know what... There's a point where he's supposed to be crying. And this is what we get from him. I'm like, are you crying? What is this? Supposed to be sad? And in the end, it's supposed to be like a happy look, and he's just, what? I'm like, what is he doing? Is he at the poop? What is this? Get that boy to a bathroom now. He's apparently got to go. No offense, but the kid's not bad when he has to put out verbal acting. That's fine. When he has to do the facial acting, that's when we have a problem. When the camera closes in on his face and you go, no, take it away. No. But his regular acting, his vocal acting, and the way he emotes verbally like that works. And once they get the tears streaming down, he looks fine. But when it looks like he's building up to the tears, I'm sorry. I also didn't care for the little subplot where he has a problem with his friend because it goes nowhere. His friend Patrick, like there's a whole thing where he doesn't want Patrick to use the cabinet. And he does, and then they have an issue, and they want to each take one figure to school, and then Patrick wants to show everyone, and Omri wants to not do it, and they have a problem. Their argument leaks to a teacher finding out, but then, it doesn't go anywhere because they're instructed, to be plastic, so they do. And then they're just fine. You come home from school, he's like, hey, can Patrick stay over tonight? And it's just like, okay, their beef is done. What was the point of that? From what I read in the book, there is sort of a similar scene, but it's not, I don't know. And it's New York. I figured it was New York. Yeah. So yeah, it's his birthday. He gets a little cabinet from his older brother Gillen. That's not a name. Why not just call him Dylan? Why Gillen? A little Native American toy, which it says Native American here, even though the name of the movie is still Indian in the cupboard. It just says Native American. So they corrected that here. From his best friend Patrick, which the book describes that he's not happy with that present, but in the movie he doesn't. I think he actually likes it because in the movie it's implied that Patrick gives him new toys all the time. So, yeah. Like I said, they need a key, and they find one, and it turns out it's the grandmother's key, or her grandmother's key, so it was great grandmother, and he locks the toy in the cupboard. And the next morning, he hears the banging, and he finds a real live Native American man in there. Where is the? Hold on, I got an itch. I moved my. I used the tongs that I use for a back scratcher. Ironically, so I can have a back scratcher out here and a back scratcher in there. So I have the tripod one in there, and then in here. And then I slept out here last night, so I used these, and then I put everything back in there. So he finds a tiny little man, and he has a little dagger, which probably wouldn't hurt anyone. He just pokes his finger, right? And the next day, because we got to a day, he speaks English. 18th century Iroquois, specifically Onondaga, man named Little Bear. He was fighting in the French and Indian War on the side of the British. Because to pretend that Native Americans were treated any better than black people is, well, you're ignoring. You're ignoring what you shouldn't be ignoring. In fact, I would say that Native Americans were treated worse. Not that the black people weren't treated bad. They were, but we took the white man took their land, and then they enslaved the people who were here, and yeah, and it happened to them first. Let me tell you. Just saying. Or did it? I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. But over the time he learns more about the Iroquois, I don't know how to pronounce it, and they become friends. And he's also a widower. He has no wife, but he has a nephew, and that's where he was teaching. We found out later he was teaching his nephew. He was doing the rite of passage. Take his nephew into the woods. Become a man. Think of 28 days later, where take him out to hunt and stuff, kind of like that. You know what I mean? Which kind of means that we're kind of that in this 28 years later scenario, we're kind of regressing back to Native American culture to go out to hunt and stuff like that. Interesting to look at, but he gets another figure, which is like a Mohawk chieftain. I don't like the way that they do this, because it's like they're action figures. Oh, what I do like is he immediately, once he realizes that it becomes real, he's like, oh, he put a bunch of his toys in there, does it, and he got like Darth Vader and a T-Rex and other ones, and he's like, too much, and turns them back. And that's too, that's like, okay, we need him to try to turn other figures, make them real. So to just do one scene where he does a whole bunch of them instead of trying to, here's a Darth Vader, here's a dinosaur, or So like that. It's just like, no, one scene, that's it. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Trying to think. There's a part. Where Little Bear gets hurt. I don't remember what it was. He gets hurt, and he has to bring this medic guy to life, who heals him, and then he puts him back in the cupboard and makes him normal. This doesn't bring up the medic guy until towards the end. And it's not out of order because they do bring him back, but it's just like... The book also didn't bring that up. Yeah. So... But he brings the chieftain to life. But the chieftain's so old, he has a heart attack when he sees Omri. And my reaction would have been, well, just turn back to an action figure. Boom. But no, they go out of their way to explain that these are real people that you are plucking from a point in time and bringing them to life here. What? They do that. So that's a real chieftain. So you can't just turn it back into an action figure. Well, he does, but then they bury him. And it's like... So he shows Patrick. And before this, Patrick's like, oh, I brought you another figure, a cowboy, to go with your Indian, Native American. He shows him, and, you know, because standoffish, he doesn't want to come out of the underneath the thing. They also show that they have I thought it was a hamster. It's a mouse, a rat, that the brothers have that's in a ball that's rolling around. I do like, look, at one point, Armor gets so pissed that he kicks the ball. And, okay, this is unrealistic as shit. Because we had one of those things. Alright, for my sister's hamster or guinea pig, whatever what it was. We had one of those balls. I think we had for the rabbits, too, to go in. Where you could do that. They can roam around the house better. And avoid the dogs. The dogs would kind of poke their nose at it. But it wouldn't be like, you know. Those things are so easy to break open. He kicks it down the stairs. And it lands... still in one piece. I went, bullshit. Those things break so easily, man. They're plastic. And you have the weight of an animal in there. The animal's hurt. Not dead. But the animal will be hurt. Not in the movie, but the animal will be hurt. And the thing will break. But in this movie, it's based on a book. So I guess in the book, they just copied from the book, maybe? I don't know. But while he's dealing with this, and all these problems, Patrick, because what is he? Okay, he used some saw blades of his dad's. So his dad says, "Well, let's go to the hardware to pick up some stuff." He said, "No, I can do it on my own." This scene isn't acted very well. Let me do it on my own. I could do it, Dad. I'm just like, take 2, 3, 20? No? Okay. And so he walks down to the hardware store. It's not that far. Buys it. And as soon as he leaves, some bully is there that we've never seen in the rest of the movie. He's like, hey, what you got? That's stupid. Give me your money. And he leaves. And I'm like, hello, where are you? Where did you come from? Big lip alligator moment. Where did this guy come from? He was in the movie before. He's not in the movie again. They don't even bring it up. He just comes back. He's skinned his arm somehow? Okay. and he's got the saw blades. And he overhears Patrick's mom talking to his mom and saying that Patrick is a little mischievous or something like that. Like he's a rebel. This makes him go, oh, and run up to find that he put the cowboy, known as Boone, in the cupboard. So now he's alive. And he's played by David Keith. David Keith. I said Keith David before. It's David Keith. Interesting for a kids movie, they show him smoking a couple times in this. And of course, he and Little Bear have issues, of course. But they agree to take one each to school. And that's where they start having the problems, like I said. Like, because Patrick wants to show everybody that it's real. And understandably, after finding out these are real people, Omri doesn't want to do that at all. He's like, they're real people. Patrick doesn't understand. He thinks just action figures come to life. Which is really what they should have been, because that's what they are, but they're real people. I can see if it's an action figure based on a real person. These are just random figures. I don't know. I don't know. And then we gotta pad the runtime, apparently. Because they get home, and the cupboard is gone. So, oh, can he stay tonight? And they go up there. The cupboard's gone because the brothers took it. And because they want the rat ball. And then like, oh, the rat is somewhere underneath the floorboards and stuff, so look out for it. And then he can't find the key. Apparently the key was knocked down when the brothers got it or something. They find it later. And instead of like looking around for it or looking in the area where it would be where the cupboard was, they just give up. They find it. So he can't send them back. And he has a female Native American that he wants to use to give Littlefoot a wife. In the book, they bring her to life. And then according to the book, they send everyone back together. They're not from the same time. None of them are. Why would she? I don't know. A headache. I had enough headaches. Excuse me. So, after some filler where they watch a Western movie, why are they watching this? It's a Western movie where cowboys are fighting Native Americans, or cowboys and Indians as they called it back then. And the Native Americans are getting slaughtered by cowboys. It's called Last of the Natives or something. Last of his tribe. That shows the relentless slaughter of the Yana people by cowboys. Boone isn't enthusiastic at the sight of this. This is from the book, too. I read that. A Little Bear watches, and because Boone fires his guns in the air because he's happy about this, Little Bear just shoots the arrow into Boone's chest. And they don't have the medic to save him. Oh well. Kind of deserved it, if you ask me. It's a real person. It's a toy figure. I don't know anymore. He was being an asshole. So what? He deserves it. Insert Marty McFly footage. He's an asshole. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. They find the key is actually underneath the floorboard. Of course, also, the rat is under there. He gets the rat and brings it back to his brother, I think. And then Patrick brings it back to the brother, I think, or something like that. And they are able to get... I do like when little Bear tries to go underneath. He's like, I'm too big. I'm too big! Because he's been, like, small. They tell him he's small. So, yeah. And they hit the key, and they decide they're going to send him back. But Omri decides he wants to bring the Native American woman to life. But Little Bear says, don't do that, because Omri says he doesn't want... This is what confused me. Omri says he doesn't want Little Bear to be alone when he goes back. But they're not going back to the same place. So even if... I mean, this sentence implies that she would go back with him if they were sent back together, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because that would imply that the dinosaur, Darth Vader, and the other toys that were all brought to life together all went back to the same place together. That's a little scary. Dinosaurs in space? When did you ever see that? Oh, yeah. Doctor Who. Anyway. So he doesn't bring her to life, and then he has this whole thing where he has him visualize something, and then it's like Little Bear is standing next to him, and he says, I will call you my nephew. And I'm like, that's not how that works, but okay. Because he took his nephew out to the woods, and he's like, I will treat you as my nephew. Get out to the woods, you son of a... No, just kidding. Treat you as my nephew. I will think of you as my nephew. That's what it is. And then say goodbye. And they go back. And then we cut to Omri reading his report. Which... What was the assignment that they had to do? I'm guessing fiction was okay. Because otherwise... If this is supposed to be a report on something he did, no one's going to believe him. Right? There were sequel books. Oh, there were sequel books. But there wasn't any sequels. Box office. It debuted number 6 in North American box office. Film made only $35 million against a production budget of $45 million. Yep. It was one of those that was a success. On home video. There's a very... Yeah, that's the movie film. It's middle of the road. It's middle of the road. Watching it. It's also a time capsule of its time, like very 90s. The way things were at certain, what they call the Native American man, and just the way. Hey, I think it, and I can't verify this, but like it tries to teach you about Native Americans and how it was. Don't watch something like Last of the Mohicans, which I had the book back in the day. I don't know if I ever read it all the way, but I did have the book. And I was like, oh, I want to watch the movie. No, that's rated R. You can't watch that. I watched Chucky. I've never seen Last of the Mohicans, but I'm pretty sure it's more violent than Chucky. If the depictions of how they treated Native Americans back then are supposed to be realistic, then yeah. There you have it. So, what are your thoughts on The Indian in the Cupboard? Leave a comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.